Okay, this is People of the State of Michigan versus Joshua Lauer, docket number 20-720FH. And Mr. Lauer, how far did you go in school?
I got my GED.
Okay, very good. And do you work right now?
Not at the moment. I'm looking for work.
Understood. Would you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Lauer, you have the right to be represented by an attorney. You are represented by Mr. Cornish. And Mr. Cornish, this is a plea to an orally added count 4, is that right?
That's correct, Your Honor.
And you waive reading of the balance?
We do, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Allen, would you read count 4, please?
In the People of the State of Michigan versus Joshua Lauer, file 20-720-FH, State of Michigan, County of Ingham, in the name of the people of the State of Michigan, the prosecuting attorney for this county appears before the court and informs the court that on or about September 18, 2020, at 611 Lathrop, City of Lansing, Ingham County, the defendant did, in an orally added and amended count 4, commit the offense of possession of methamphetamine. That he did knowingly or intentionally possess methamphetamine, contrary to MCL 333.74032B1. This is a felony punishable by up to 10 years and or $15,000. Unless sentenced to more than 1 year in prison, the court shall impose license sanctions pursuant to Michigan law. We ask the court take notice that the defendant was previously convicted of a felony or an attempt to commit a felony in that on or about March 25th, 2019. He was convicted of the offense of police officer fleeing and eluding court in violation of Michigan law in the 29th Circuit Court for Clinton County, State of Michigan. Therefore, the defendant is subject to the penalties provided by MCL 769.10, making the penalty 1.5 times the maximum sentence on the primary offense or a lesser term. The maximum penalty cannot be less than the maximum term for a first conviction and was committed against the peace and dignity of the State of Michigan.
Mr. Lauer, you're being charged here with possession of methamphetamine. That is a felony. And because the prosecutor is proceeding against you as a habitual second offender, it makes the maximum penalty up to 15 years in prison. Also, if you were on parole at the time of the offense, it would be a mandatory consecutive sentence. Have you had enough time to talk about the charge with your attorney?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand the charge?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any questions about what we're doing?
No, Your Honor.
And how do you want to plead?
Guilty.
If your plea of guilty is accepted by this court, it means you won't have a trial of any kind and you'll be giving up the rights that go along with a trial. Did you sign this advice of rights
Yes, Your Honor.
form? And did you go over the rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you understand then that the form lists the rights that go along with the trial, and those are the rights you give up when you plead guilty.
Yes, Your Honor.
And that's what you want to do?
Yes, Your Honor.
Also, if I accept your plea, it means you can't come back later on and try to say that the plea was the result of some promise or threat that no one told me about today. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
It also means you cannot come back later on and try to say that it really wasn't your own choice to plead guilty today. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is there a plea agreement, Ms. Allen?
There is, Your Honor. In exchange for the defendant's plea of guilty to the orally added and amended count 4, possession of methamphetamine as a habitual second offender, the people agreed to dismiss the balance of the felony information. There's also a sentence agreement pursuant to People versus Killebrew that the defendant's sentence, minimum sentence, will be on the D grid E2 cell, which is a 10 to 28 range.
That's a straddle cell.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So everyone acknowledges and agrees that a straddle cell can mean anything from 0 to 12 months jail or up to 28 months on a minimum MDOC sentence.
Yes, Your Honor, that was the intention.
Okay, just always want to make sure of that.
Yes.
Sometimes people misunderstand.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Full and complete statement, Mr.
Yes.
Cornish?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Lauer, is that your understanding?
Yes, Your Honor.
You agree with this?
Yes, Your Honor.
There is an agreement about your sentence, and that is that it would be in this 10-month to 28-month range, which, as I've just explained, means a lot of things.
Yes, Your Honor.
If for some reason I decided not to go along with that, I would tell you before I sentenced you, and I'd give you a chance if you wanted to take back this plea and start all over. You got all that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Has anyone promised you anything else that hasn't been said here right now in court in order to get you to plead guilty?
No, Your Honor.
Has anyone used any threats?
No, Your Honor.
Is this your own choice?
Yes, Your Honor.
And are you pleading guilty because you believe you are guilty of this offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, tell me then, what you did on or about September 18 of last year.
I was in possession of methamphetamine.
Did you know that it was meth?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you know it was on your person?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And did you knowingly possess this methamphetamine at the location of 611 Lathrop in Lansing, England County?
Yes, Your Honor.
Has the court complied with MCR 6.302? Ms. Allen?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Cornish?
It has, Your Honor.
Are you aware of any promises, threats, or inducements other than those already placed on the record? Ms. Allen?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Cornish?
No, Your Honor.
The court finds the plea is understandingly and voluntarily made without undue influence, threats, or promises of leniency. It is an accurate plea. It's supported by the testimony. The plea is accepted and sentencing is set for I gotta check and make sure I still have this date. Yes. Very good, thank you. Monday, May 3rd at 3:30 in person, if Mr. Cornish is good with that date.
I am good with that date, Your Honor, unless they begin doing jury trials and somehow my out of custody becomes,
I know.
I don't think it's going, well, they might actually run them, but I don't think my out of custodies are going to go. So I should be good, or somebody from my office will step in.
Very good, thank you. Okay, Mr. Lauer, so you'll need to be back here on Monday, May 3rd at 3:30 for sentencing.
Yes, Your Honor.
You should just be aware that the probation department is going to make contact with you. They need to do an interview with you for the sentencing report that they prepare. If they aren't in touch with you in the next couple of days, please call them and tell them you need to set up an interview.
Yes, Your Honor.
It's 483-6100. Mr. Cornish can help you with that.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your bond is continued and you are all set.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Your Honor.